Howdy, this is the Stick Figure Historian, and welcome back to the American series. Last week's episode, we finished talking about the Battle of the Alamo. And just my private opinion, yeah, we're kind of going stick figure conspiracy theorist here. I kind of think that the whole thing was a setup. I mean, Sam Houston knew it was going to be difficult to get reinforcements out to Bexar. But he sent Travis out there anyway, with a minimal amount of guys, instead of a big army or just shutting the fort down. And then he didn't even go to help them when he was repeatedly getting messages for help. I mean, I don't know, guys, but something about that just seems fishy. Houston was not dumb. I kind of wonder if it was just a really great publicity stunt, pulled right in conjunction with the Declaration of Independence to get a bunch of American troops and funding on board the agenda. But, like I said, that's just my opinion. Anyway, conspiracy rant over. Back to the narrative. Let's look at the aftermath here. Santa Anna rode his horse through the demolished gates of the Alamo, stoically surveying the terrible carnage that lay around him. General Martin's mistake of surrendering Bexar had been redeemed. Mexico and the family of Santa Anna were avenged. The only people left alive in the old mission of the cottonwood trees were a few women and children, and Joe, Travis's slave. Santa Anna was cruel, but he was not completely heartless. Each woman was given a blanket, the weather being still quite cold, and 2 silver pesos before they left to seek new homes. Susanna Dickinson was among these women, the wife of the brave Almiron. She held little Angelina in her arms as she came with the others to see the Mexican general. For some reason, Santa Anna was suddenly stricken with a fancy for the infant. He asked her if he might adopt the little girl. Of course, Susanna indignantly refused. It was poor Susanna that was given the task of bearing the news of the massacre to Sam Houston and the other Texans. Santa Anna gave her a horse and sent Joe to protect her along the way. "You tell them," the general commanded her. "You will tell them that Santa Anna is unbeatable." Susanna was not the first to tell the tale, however. A handful of other Texans near Bexar had seen Alamo's downfall, and they had already sped northward some time before she started her journey. They found Houston at Gonzales on the 11th of March. And just what was Houston doing in Gonzales? Why was he not at Washington on the Brazos, attending to that constitution that he claimed was of such vast importance? Well, that had been written now, you see. And this very day, he was finally moving to get recruits to help Travis. A full 5 days after all of the Alamo's troops had breathed their last. The messengers from Bexar came to Gonzales mere hours after Houston had arrived. "The Alamo has fallen," they cried. "It was a massacre, and Santa Anna is pushing northward." The Texans gasped, and fear began to crease their brows. A massacre? And Santa Anna was coming here? Houston saw he needed to do something quick, or panic was going to ensue. He took the messengers and clapped them into prison. "You are spies," he declared. "The Mexicans only sent you here to tell us lies and make us afraid of them." He encouraged the men to continue preparing for the expedition to Bexar. But Houston couldn't hold back the truth forever. Soon, Susanna and Joe arrived. Their story echoed the tale of the earlier messengers, only with more miserable detail. Now the Texans knew that the Alamo really had fallen. For here was the story from the wife of one of the captains, and Travis's own slave. They had no reason to lie. The panic that Houston had striven to stem swept across Texas. Soldiers, settlers, women, children, and their animals abandoned homes, cities, and farmsteads to rush away northward from the terror of Santa Anna and his bloodthirsty army of operations. The further they ran, the more people they caught up with them, in a great unthinking frenzy of fear. This came to be called the runaway scrape. Yes, the clouds of fortune were dark for Texas, but they were only to grow darker still. On the same day that Susanna Dickinson brought ill tidings to Gonzales, trouble began brewing for James Fannin in Goliad. We had left him at his Fort Defiance, you remember? Well, on this day, March 11th, James Fannin called for one of his officers, Amon King. He told King to go to the troops at Refugio Mission and warn them to evacuate. Fannin, too, knew the dismal story of the Alamo, and he knew they could not hold Refugio against Santa Anna without more help. King departed as he was bidden, but he did not truly follow Fannin's orders. Instead, he and the band of men with him began to prey upon the nearby ranchers, searching out and raiding those that had any centralist Mexican sympathies. It was a wicked thing to do, and it was to cost him dearly. He got to the mission eventually, but only to see General Urrea's advance guard already within sight of the walls. It was too late to evacuate. And just to refresh your memory here a bit, Urrea was the general that Santa Anna sent to lead the eastern part of this campaign to crush the Texan revolt. A few episodes back, we talked about how he ended the ill-fated Matamoros expedition. This was just the second step on his journey into Texas. The Texans bolted the heavy doors, prepared to hold out against the worst. Fannin was not very happy when he received the news of King's foolishness. Not only was King in grave danger, but he was now preventing Fannin from obeying orders. You see, Houston had also just sent to Fannin, commanding him to destroy Fort Defiance and retreat to Victoria. Fannin could have simply just left King behind. Yet, to leave King would surely be to abandon him and his men to their deaths. And that was something Fannin simply did not have the heart to do. He was not budging until he got King out of this mess. He sent William Ward with a rescue team to try and get the men out of Refugio. Ward came flying at the Mexicans like an angry bull, driving them all away from the mission's walls. Thankfully, this was only still the advance guard of Urrea's force, or else it would not have been possible. King thanked Ward for his help, and then promptly went back to pillaging the ranchers. And Ward with him. It won't surprise you when I say that the Mexicans returned. This time, with Urrea himself and the rest of the army. King and Ward scampered like frightened rats back into the mission, barring the doors again. Urrea wasted no time. He ordered a charge, and a furious battle ensued. Sunset found the Texans still in possession of the mission, but King and Ward knew that tomorrow would be another story. It was time to pull out. Acting the part of true cowards, they decided to leave their wounded behind. And so, under the cover of a passing rain, they left that very night, splitting up and slipping through the Mexican lines.